daddies, metal daddies, metal daddies, metal daddies. Metal daddies.
All right, welcome back to Death Metal Daddies. My name is Jeff, and we have a very special guest tonight. Uh, this for this interview, we decided to reach out to a company that is kind of fits the aesthetics and pretty much everything we kind of talk about on this show. We talk about fatherhood, we talk about hunting, and obviously we talk about metal. So with that, I'll let the guest. We have Chris Mott, and you want to talk about what it is. What is your company?
Yeah, no, so I'm the CEO of a company called Metalhead Outdoors Apparel that is, built for folks who like heavy metal and also enjoy the outdoors, whether it's, hunting, fishing, mountain biking, hiking, any of those things. Um, there's lots of metalheads that do those things and they don't have gear that maybe fits that part of their lifestyle, and that's kind of where metalheads sort of hung its hat, if you will. So
Hmm.
um, there's lots of really cool designs out there for a lot of different things, but the niche that we've kind of found is something a little bit more edge to it that metalheads seem to enjoy. So
Yeah, and I do think it's a great idea because I do think, especially in metalhead culture, the kind of like having some kind of clothing that kind of like sets it apart is like people will have like a Aeropostale shirt or an American Eagle shirt. Metalheads usually want to wear a metal shirt so that when they see another metalhead, it's like, oh, what is that? They try to make sure decipher it. And so combining that with the hunting, especially how the death metal logo kind of fits in with the camo design, I think is really a cool idea, and I think it is a perfect melding of the two different cultures.
yeah, for sure, man. That's one of the things that drew me to the company. When it was put up for sale, I jumped all jumped all over it
Hmm.
to make sure I got my hands on it. And so it's a good story. Wasn't working at the time, still not. Metalhead's my job at the moment. So trying to do this, raise two kids. Is a lot, but it was just too good of an opportunity to pass up. I think there's tons of potential here for the company that really hasn't been reached yet. I love our hunters, I love our fishermen, but there's lots of other outdoors things to do besides those two things, and so I'm looking forward to seeing what we can do and sort of expand the brand outside of just those two, hunting and fishing. Even though those are great things, we love them. We'll never forget them. We'll
Yeah.
continue to make clothes for hunters and fishermen. I mean, every single new design that I've done has had those two pieces in mind. We have some new things coming down the road that are going to support some other outdoor activities, but yeah, that's kind of what drew me to it too, man. Same things.
Yeah, and I can tell there's because I remember I saw the announcement that you did become the CEO over the summer, and we talked about that a little bit before this. And I do feel like there has been almost like a resurgence in energy. It does feel like you have kind of try to the social media is a lot more upfront. I see a lot more of it. It's always on my feed now, so because it seems like there's always a new post. So it does seem like the marketing is taking off more. And I also saw you guys also came up with a new design, or at least a new pattern, at least. Didn't know
Yeah,
if you want to talk about that at all.
yeah, absolutely. So, beginning of the month, I think it was the end of October, we came out with our new our first new performance camo hoodie since the line came out, and it's the rusted bark. So,
Hmm.
it's a little bit of a different take on camo. It has a little bit more of a red tone to it. There's some yellows in there, but it's really cool. You can wear it in any season, really, I think. And then just a couple weeks ago, I think last week we released the Pagan Stag, which is a streetwear hoodie. It's got the Buck and Rut logo on the back, some really new logo on the front, and then we just released the Alligator Gar hoodie this week. So we had a little contest in October. Going to do a new fish design. Which fish? I think we put it was the muskie, the gar, and then maybe the northern pike, I think, was the other one that we were up against, and the gar ended up winning. So this new design just hit the website this week. So there's a couple others that I've put on the in the shop that I just never really formally introduced or announced. And I think we'll kind of do that. I think that might be something as part of our culture is just to add things here and there and see if people
Hmm.
notice. And then eventually we'll say, hey, by the way, we have this new hoodie and kind of do a release. But there's some ideas I got going to maybe draw people to the website without really thinking about going to it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah,
New
I
hoodie
get what you're
for
saying.
50% off, something like that, but it's
Yeah,
not advertised, right? You just go and it might look like a mistake on the website, but it's a new design. It's just an idea. But um, yeah, so more camo to come for sure. I'm kicking around a bunch of things. We got to redo our women's collection for sure. That kind of got stagnant, so I just kind of took that out of the store. A lot of stuff was out of stock. So that's kind of one of my bigger priorities going into next year is revamping the women's collection and having some good gear there as well. And then just kind of continue to branch out, get some additional products. But it's a labor of love, man. Doing this
yeah.
is new to me. I've never run an apparel company. I never used Meta or Instagram or any of these tools to actually do anything, right? So that's been a challenge for me. But learn how to post, learning how to be effective with posting takes time. Uh, the TikToks and the Metas and the Instagrams, they want you to feed the beast to
Hmm.
to get back, to give back to you. So
Yeah,
it just takes time to build those things up, but we're getting there. I'm getting the hang of it. And we'll see where it takes us, man.
I got you. Yeah, and I do kind of like the idea of because I do remember seeing the rusted bark, and I think it probably just sticks with me just because it was like, oh, it's so cool. Because I still like I do think that's a very rare pattern. I've never really seen that, and I do think especially for me, I live in a very I hunt on the land, and it's on my land, and it's a lot of I'm on a lot of leaves, on a lot of reddish leaves, and I think it actually does fit perfectly as opposed to just like a pure green or something like that. It actually blends in better with at least where I'm at. But also, it is just a cool looking hoodie to where if you don't hunt, kind of like a streetwear. But I do like the
Yep.
idea of the maybe not like doing like a full rollout of like announcing it, almost like a little Easter egg for people to find to where it does kind of make people's like, well, maybe there is something I missed that's new on there today, kind of like a little Easter egg kind of thing.
Yep. And that takes time, right? Like that's something that the brand just has to develop over a period of time, right? And I'm all about
Hmm.
seeds, planting things and seeing what comes from it. And when it came to the camo, I wanted to do something different. Guys used to hunt on the ground with a black and red checkered, wool coat.
Hmm.
So and they got big deer, right? So all the fancy stuff is great. I love it. It's awesome. But I'm like, you know, we go out in bright orange at some point. It's we're not blending in, and they'll still walk up to us, right? So that's kind of what I had. I was just going to be a little bit free with it. And then I have another one that I'm working on that's kind of along the same vein, sort of the same tones. And I've got a bunch of other requests, from people for designs. And no shortage of ideas. That's one thing I've definitely learned doing this thing. You probably run into the same thing with your podcast. Hey, I got a great idea for a podcast. If you guys do this, and I love the ideas, right? Because you do get really good ones from people. I'm like, oh my God, that is actually a really good idea. I didn't think of that. So I'm always open to it. But that's one thing I definitely learned right away getting into this was yeah, people are going to reach out with things they think you should be doing, and I appreciate it. I really do because I'm learning, right? So there's going to be things I don't know. I'm very humble when it comes to this whole thing, for sure,
I
man.
gotcha. I gotcha. And it's looking great so far. Like I said, I've loved it feels like it's more energy nowadays, but yeah, I think it's great. But let's get more into so we talked a lot about your company. Let's talk about you. Um, so I think you were talking about you've been hunting about 9-ish years so far. And you do both hunt bow and rifle, I take it.
Yep, yep.
And it
Go ahead. Sorry.
uh is it only deer or do you hunt anything else?
Yeah. So I just started duck hunting last season, so I got into that. I lucked into being invited on a trip to Northeast Arkansas, so that was my first time duck hunting. So I'm completely spoiled. There's good duck hunting where I am. I'm in Western New York, near Rochester, Buffalo, sort of in that area.
Okay.
And there's tons of wildlife there. I mean, fishing is insane here. If you want to freshwater fish, it's one of the best spots to be. Um, but duck hunting here isn't what it is in the Midwest, right, where all the flyways are. So I've definitely been spoiled, but did that last season and have been hooked. So I did my first Canadian, did some goose hunting this September. Had a blast doing that. So yeah, anything I can do to get into the woods more, I'll do. Um, and so yeah, just I didn't grow up hunting. Met my wife, her brother and father were into hunting. I never thought I would get into it, right? It never crossed my mind to hunt. And then I just went out and sat one opening day, and deer did walk out in front of me, and I was like, oh my God, I think I could do this, man. And so and I got my license, and then, here we are. And then getting into bow, it was during COVID. You could get the license online. So I was like, cool, that's a lot easier than doing the all day course. And here I am. It's extraordinarily challenging. I'm learning how to, do it because it's really difficult, and you can make mistakes. And, I've had things go exactly the way I expect them to, and then just make a mistake, climbing into the tree stand and getting ready. And I'm like, oh man, I never put my release on. Like I've done those things. And so that's one of the things I love about hunting is you learn all the time, good and bad things that can happen. And every sit is different. But more than anything, I do love sitting in the woods. I've sat in the woods when it was
Hmm.
35 degrees, windy and rain and miserable, but I feel like I'm putting the time in to get the next deer, right? Which is a different way to think of it, maybe compared to some, but that's kind of how I look at it. Is like I'm putting the time in with Mother Nature. She's, abusing me a little bit. Maybe she'll serve something up for me because of it. That type of thing.
Yeah. A little
So
bit of a sacrifice for a bigger payout.
exactly, man. You got to earn it a little bit. That type of thing.
Hmm. Yeah, it shouldn't come easy. Yeah, yeah, because I've had, especially this season, sitting out, was out there for about 4 or 5 hours, just freezing cold, shivering. It's like I got to suffer because I know there'll be a big something at the end. Even
Exactly.
if there isn't the end, you just got to go out a different day.
Got to go out there, man. You can't get one sitting on the couch. And with the family, I can look at the forecast, and it could be 70% or 65, but I'm like, well, this is when I can go out. Like I can't go out on Wednesday morning during the middle of the week when it's 95%
Hmm.
chance, whatever that forecast is, right? Um,
Yeah.
so I gotta hunt when I can. And my son Xander and I were in a blind on Sunday night, and like a hurricane came through, man. Like it was crazy. And we got 20 minutes of time at the end before it got dark to actually hunt and see anything. And of course, nothing came out. But still, like we sat through it in the blind. It was kind of cool. It was just the two of us in there. It was super loud. It was crazy. But that's the type of stuff that you enjoy with hunting. It's like, all right, cool. We can
Hmm.
talk in our normal voices because it's loud as hell outside and nothing's gonna come, and have a good time bonding with my son. He's 10 years old, and he's bloodthirsty, man. He's ready to go for sure. So
Hell yeah. Well, also I was wanting to talk about because I've also noticed since you've taken over, there's been a little bit more of a actual talking about like metal stuff. Like I saw for the first time you guys posted I think it was a Whitechapel live video.
yeah, yeah.
That was a cool thing I did because it's one of those things I see a lot of like there'll be metal themed companies, but I never know is like, well, what's their poison when it comes to metal? So it's refreshing to see you guys post the Whitechapel thing, so I take it you enjoyed the new Whitechapel album this year?
Yeah, man, I love Whitechapel, and that was the first time I'd see them, and I hope to post more of that content, right? Because I like to think of it as work at this point, and that's kind of how I sell it to
Mm-hmm.
the families. Like, well, I got to go to the Whitechapel show; it's work. So they were coming in Rochester, and they were playing the hymns record in its entirety, and then they played a couple of hits after that. But they were flawless, man. I had to give it to them, and I hope to post, more live footage of where we go. Got a lot of good comments on the Pagan Stag hoodie that while I was there, which was great. But yeah, Chapel, I mean, it's interesting. I like all metal, man. So from 70s on through, I'll find something I love about all of it. It's my favorite genre of music for sure, has been my entire life. Megadeth is the first band I listened to growing up. They're my favorite band, but I know that there's a ton more. There's hundreds of bands that I liked. I played in a couple, metal bands throughout my life too. Um, but yeah, Chapel came into town and they slayed the beast. It was great, and they got freaking deer antlers and all that shit around. So I'm like, this
Hmm.
is perfect. Your vibe
Yeah.
for this record's perfect for me, man. So I gotta go. Have you seen them live?
It's been a few years. Last
Okay.
time I saw them was 2014, I want to say. It was right
Okay.
after
That Saw is the
like
Law. Okay.
yeah, that they opened with Saws of Law, and
Gotcha.
I think it
Okay.
just came out at that
Yeah.
time.
They're perfect, man. Like
Oh
they're
yeah.
gonna be that deathcore band, like, deathcore exploded, but they're gonna be the band that plays forever,
Yeah,
right?
kind
Like,
of like how Megadeth, Metallica, and Slayer are for thrash. I do think Whitechapel is becoming like that for deathcore,
yep,
because I do think Suicide Silence could have been it, but they had some stuff happen.
yep.
But then Whitechapel, I do think, has kind of become one of the four horsemen of deathcore.
I'm with you on that, man. Technically, they've really started to move in that direction, right? Like they're really putting more of a progressive kind of piece to
Mm-hmm.
their music.
Mm-hmm.
The vocalist, his name's escaping me, but
Phil Bozeman.
yeah, he's expanding his range on what he's doing, which is really impressive, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
who else? Who are the other three that you think are the four horsemen?
Um,
Would you say? You're gonna know better
it
than
all
me, man.
I would say so. It's all technicality. If whether or not people consider them deathcore, I consider them
Right?
deathcore, and I love them. That would probably be the Acacia strain.
Oh, for sure, man. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a different flavor of deathcore, but still deathcore. And
Yep.
I do think we talk about them a lot on this podcast because,
That's
especially
good.
this album and the other one that came out the same day,
Yep.
flawless and perfect. Yeah, I think they are. I think it's just the longevity of these bands. I think is what is proving them to be kind of the big four of deathcore.
Yeah.
I'd also put Despised Icon on there probably.
Yeah, man.
Uh,
Yep.
Finally getting coming around on them. My buddy Silas, the co-host, he's always been about them, telling me to get on that train, but
Yeah,
wasn't until
dude.
this new album came out I was like, okay, it's all clicking now. I'm getting it.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Um,
Yeah, I know those bands for sure. I
yeah.
mean, Strain I've listened to forever, man.
Mm-hmm.
Car Bomb, I remember that came out. It was like face melting all over the place, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, And so, but yeah, I think it's just they've been able to continue to put out new records. Each record sounds different, which I think is
Mm-hmm.
really hard in that space, right? So
Yeah.
like even when I've seen other bands play, like Whitechapel's not a one trick pony. There's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of deathcore bands where it's like, okay, man, like this is what you do. Now, and then there's the other bands that kind of are satirical on deathcore, right? And it's become, kind of funny in some ways. Like they
Mm-hmm.
play on their shtick a little hard, if I'm making any sense. Uh,
Yeah.
but Strain's been able to do, like, even the last record came out. It's kind of harkens back to the old stuff as far as
Mm-hmm.
we're not going to do 4 or 5 minute songs. I think they had the long one at the end on this record, but the majority of them I think are all under 3 minutes. And that
Yeah,
was
it's
all
a
by
very
design, right? Like it was all
yeah,
by
just a
design. He's like,
huge
we just want to
breeze.
we're going to tell a story in this record. We'll have our serenade, our progressive thing at the end, and then just deliver, a brutal Acacia Strain record. So
Yeah, and I do think that is right, especially with Acacia Strain and Whitechapel. I think are examples of how to do longevity, to where you're not technically changing who you are as a band, but you are still incorporating new things, keeping it fresh, not caving into trends,
yeah,
but finding a way to create longevity by being consistent, but still experimenting a little bit. And that's what I love about Acacia, especially that. the 3 song Failure Will Follow, to where it's all just
Yeah,
super long experimental.
yeah, dude.
Ah,
And you wouldn't expect it from them, I think, until they did it, right? Like I know the lead singer always talked about doing more progressive and like I just want to make a 40-minute song that is the album, right? So
mm-hmm,
it's good that they got to do those things as a band and to be a band their size and still have the clout with the record label to be like, hey, can we do something on our own? And that's one thing. Another thing I love about the metal community is like there's a lot more of that compared to any other genre, right? I think
mm-hmm,
probably heavy metal and maybe like bluegrass music is a place where artists sort of control how things are because it's so connected to the people who are listening to it and not like a commercial buyer, right? It's
yeah,
sold on how people feel about things more than, which is every product, but more so
mm,
than every other type of music, I think. Um,
yeah,
so,
yeah. Especially when you have actual subgenres of metal where it's supposed to be like as grating as possible. It's supposed to be as anti-commercial. I mean, that was the whole idea behind black metal and
yeah,
grindcore. But I mean, they have an audience. They've somehow sold a bunch of records,
yep.
and it's great. We all love it. It's anti I don't know, zeitgeist. I don't know what you would
Yeah,
call
it
it, but
is, man. And it's even when the woman, the Chilean woman there that won the
oh
beauty
yeah,
contest, and she is the guttural scream, and the dude's out there with the I think it's like an H string guitar he's playing, and he's an amazing guitar player, right? But there's a piece of me that, and I don't know them, and I don't know what they are, but I'm like, there's a commercial piece to that whole thing. Like that
hmm
guy's outfit was pressed, he was done up. I mean, she was drop dead gorgeous, right? But like in the same vein, it was like okay, these guys are just going to roll up to the club, break out their shit and play, and like a Casey Strait can still do that, right?
hmm
Like they do have a lot of
yeah,
production on their records, but they could totally pull up to a hole in the wall dive venue and
hmm
slam for 35, 40 minutes with just the gear, nothing else.
yeah, yeah.
Beat.
Very the realness, the real authenticity behind it. I do
Yeah.
think that. And that I also do think, like you said, that's where the longevity comes from, because also that's where Whitechapel's longevity's come from, with especially those two very super experimental, the ones where he's talking about his childhood. Um,
Yeah.
I do
Um,
think that's where the authenticity really comes in.
I think of the name of that record. It was the second before the last one, right?
Yeah, the Valley.
Yeah, the Valley. Yeah, I love that one. Yeah, Forgiveness is
Hmm
Weakness is a slammer, man. I
Oh
blast
yeah.
that song. It's just a jam. I love it. It's a good one.
uh, as for a fourth one, I would say that would be pretty hard. I would say either Job for a Cowboy or Suicide Silence. I
Yeah,
know neither. Joffrey Cowboy was kind of inconsistent with like huge long stretches in albums and not technically being deathcore their entire career. And Suicide Silence, I feel like their heyday was really back in the Mishlucker. I do think Eddie had some good parts here and there, but I don't think it's the same longevity as Whitechapel and Acacia Strain and
yeah.
Despise Icon.
Yeah, man. I think Suicide Silence just went through too much shit. You know what I mean? And it's like
Mm-hmm.
it's tough when you lose the main voice and face of that band, that type of band. It's tough,
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think you can say that for a lot of even the big four with, Anthrax, Metallica, and Megadeth and those things that they lose those front men, right? Metallica loses James Hetfield at any point. Like there's no replacing that guy.
Mm-hmm.
There's no, you can still have Metallica, right? And you can still do something and have a bunch of guest stars play or whatever the hell it is you want to do, but it's just not gonna work, in any
Yeah.
case. Um,
And I think that's similar to like Anthrax, because I know Anthrax kind of went back and forth on their lead singer of who they wanted to be, and I think that kind of stagnated their growth a little bit.
it did because you probably know, I'm not a names guy. You probably know the names, but when they did the album with Black Lodge on it with that lead singer,
Was
um,
it John Bush?
John Bush, gorgeous voice, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
top 10 voice, but it was like you should be in Skid Row or something, man. This is Anthrax. Like this is not
Yeah.
and Anthrax is the quirky band out of the
Hmm.
group, right? Like they're supposed to be weird and kind of different, a little bit more street, and a more urban vibe to their band, right?
Hmm.
And so that guy kind of brought that vibe, but I think it was right around the Black Album coming out. I'm thinking right around then, maybe
Yeah, I
after,
don't
like
remember. I don't know
sure.
what that album would have been called though, because I didn't. I'm not really into the John Bush era at all when it comes to
Gotcha.
Anthrax.
Gotcha. I just remember the Black Lodge song because that was the video they had. It was their hit off that record. Or White Lodge. I think it was Black Lodge. I think that's the name of the song. Um, but like the Black album came out and everybody kind of changed how they
Mm,
produced their records and all of those things to kind of hit the masses a little bit more. Slayer did it with what's the name of that record with the
Diabolus and Musica.
yeah, and it's actually an awesome record to listen to even now, but like back then it was this is kind of weird, it was not it didn't feel very Slayerish, but when you listen to it today, it plays great. It's an awesome record.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. Who would you pick then for your big four then for deathcore?
I mean, I would probably be with you with Strain, Despise Icons, Amazing Chapel. Um, it's Time for a Cowboy. I haven't even thought about them in a minute. It's been a while because again, they don't come out with stuff. But that would probably be who I would, it would be those bands. I think as far as um, ones that I still listen to or have listened to for a long time. But yeah, like I think deathcore, like would we consider Fit for an Autopsy or Shadow of Intent and Lorna?
Yeah.
Are those going to be deathcore bands? Like they're like I think Lorna is starting to slide into that role of like a Whitechapel, like
Hmm.
okay, cool, like we're gonna play in front of orchestras and we're gonna go this weird symphonic, like heavy,
Hmm.
progressive, medieval, like they're doing all that type of thing, like a complete art show that's going on with Lorna, I think, which is really cool. Um, and so there's those bands, I think Fit for an Autopsy is going to be around for a long time, man. I think they're kind of starting to hit their
Yeah.
stride. I've really liked their last few records. Um, the last single they put out, I've loved, man. So yeah, they're a good band that I follow. So any of those bands I'm gonna go see. Um, that would probably be who I would throw there as well. I'd have to look at my phone and probably
Yeah.
jog my memories. Right?
Hell yeah. Yeah, and I agree with the Lorna Shore because we've talked about it on the show a lot, to where it seems like they are getting to be like the biggest band, pretty much in general. Like I'm not a
Yeah,
big fan of Sleep Token, but I would say like Lorna Shore, Knocked Loose, and Sleep Token are like the big three when it comes to
no
like
doubt, man.
modern metal nowadays.
Yep. Yeah, yeah. And, Knock Loose is shocking. Like
Hmm.
I remember when they first came out, it was just so gritty and street. And like, I think it's timing and territory sometimes with music. And it's just like, we were the right time, we were the right place, and
Hmm.
really, really good. And we make awesome shit and everybody likes it. And we're going to go on tour with these big bands. Right. And I don't think Knock Loose I think they've been on tour for years now. I think at this point,
Hmm.
like they're always playing it seems like they're at every single show. So they're putting their time in, man. And it's just like being in the stand, right? It's like, hey, we're not going to make it by playing local shows. We got to play every show we can, everywhere we can be. Um,
Yeah.
and so, yeah, but yeah, Lorna's, they're going to be a Grammy winner maybe at some point, right? Like they're getting
Yeah.
to that point. Um, and who would have thought, you know?
Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy.
It
Because I
is,
want,
man. It really
cause
is. Like if we think about how old are you, Jeff?
I'm 34.
You're 34. So I'm 44 years old, and Jethro Tull won a Grammy for best heavy record when I was growing up. It's a famous story. You
Wasn't that
probably
the very first one?
it was the very first one. Yeah, it was Jethro Tull, man. And so it's weird how this genre that has millions of fans like doesn't isn't represented there, but I think that's the essence of why I think we like it, right? It's like,
Yeah.
people are still scared of the shit behind me, it's like it's just at this point, like we were all supposed to be devil worshippers at this point, Jeff, and we're not. So
Yeah.
it's worked. Okay.
just another satanic panic happening. You know, it's whatever.
Yeah. You got that Cannibal Corpse shirt on, man. I saw them live for the first time in September in Buffalo, by the way,
Oh,
where they're
they're so
from.
awesome, aren't they?
Dude, and they played some deep cuts because they're from
Hmm.
Buffalo. So they played, they played like two or three hits, and the rest of them were not recognizable for a guy like me, man. Like I don't think they played anything off a kill, like nothing. It was straight like Buffalo knew the music for sure. Like
That's
yeah,
good.
yeah. Um, and they played, I think what they played with. Fulci was the band they played with.
Ooh, yeah, the Fulci Municipal Waste.
Yeah, yeah, that tour, right? And they stole the show, man, a little bit. I was impressed. Like those guys from Italy, they brought the house
They're
down. They were
they're
really
good.
good,
Yeah,
really good.
I was wanting to go to that tour, so I was even prepping up by checking out a lot of Fulci. They're a awesome killer newer band. Very
Totally, man.
awesome sound.
Yeah, man. Um, Municipal Waste, I want to have at a party. Like they were just a
Yeah.
party band. I've never seen so many crowd surfing situations happening. It was like 1988, man. That band came on. It was funny. It was funny, but yeah, Fulci was I was shocked, just surprised because I never really heard them till that show. But checked them out on the way to the show. I was like, these guys sound pretty brutal, and then they were flawless, man. Like the bands are so good, man. Like
Hmm.
see, even I'm trying to think who was with the Whitechapel. There was Disembodied Tyrants was one of them.
Ooh, how was that?
They were really good, man. That was their first time in Rochester. They got six dudes up there. But they were really good, man. They played well. And then Body Snatcher, was that the other? Was it number two?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were great. They've been around for a little bit too, man. But they were like a really good time. And then who was the other band? Disembodied Tyrants.
Was Angel Maker on this one?
Angel Maker was the other one. Yeah, they were good too, man. They were good too.
Yeah.
It's a good tour, dude. They're all very different, and then, Whitechapel comes on and they just, kind of steal the show for sure. But
Yeah.
the bands are great. Like they're not just filler bands. They were all really good.
I have been wondering about because me and Silas have been always been talking about when it comes to Disembodied Tyrant because their music they've been coming out, it's been great, but we're wondering how is it going to translate to the live show. So I was wondering how was their live show?
It was good, man. Like any production lost wasn't noticed. I mean, if they're I haven't listened to them too much, so if there's a ton of production on their record, um, seeing them live, like I didn't hear anything lacking from their music at all. You got six guys up there, two vocalists, a couple other guys screaming. It can get kind of muddled, I think, when it's live. But they seem to do a really good job. And I was impressed with them. I would definitely recommend it, go and seeing them again for sure. And again, that was their first time in Rochester. They hadn't played, and they got a really good reception from the crowd.
Hell yeah. And And I'm also glad to hear when it comes to Cannibal Corpse because I know they started off in Buffalo, but I know they like went to Florida to record, but I didn't know if they still consider themselves a Buffalo band because I've never been to Buffalo, but I have love for Buffalo solely because of my favorite band being Every Time I Die.
Oh
So
yeah,
I
man.
love Every Time I Die. Is like I got to root for Buffalo. So,
Yeah,
but I'm
man.
a
Oh,
Broncos fan, but I root for the Bills, especially against the Chiefs, because
right
fuck
on,
the
dude.
Chiefs.
Fuck the Chiefs, man. Unfortunately I'm a Giants fan. It's been a long few years, but
Uh,
dude, it's every time I die, man. Yeah. Did you ever go to like hey, so you never been to Buffalo, so you never went to like the Christmas show and shit that they were at,
no.
man.
No, I would love to,
They
but
were
I
wild,
couldn't.
man. Like, and who's the front man for them now? Who's singing for them?
I think they broke up.
I know he left. And have they
Uh,
totally disbanded and not doing
yeah,
anything? Okay.
they disbanded, so it's now the brother Jordan Buckley, the guitarist,
Yeah,
the bassist, the drummer, reformed a new band called Better Lovers with Will
that's right.
Putney
Yeah.
and Greg Puciato.
Okay. Yeah, man. So I mean, it's a sad thing that happened to them. I think it's just artists, man.
Yeah, it was a very sad time.
Yeah, I've seen them a few times, and they are wild as shit live, man.
Hmm.
You don't see a lot of bands in your life with that much energy live. Like the
Yeah.
records are chaotic, their shows twice as chaotic, man. Like
Hmm.
jumping off a speaker shit, like all of that stuff is amazing.
Yeah.
Yep,
And,
amazing band.
and it seems like they could almost go on tour with everybody and still fit the bill. I've
Yeah.
seen them headline and they have like 68 and Wage War. And then a few months later, I see them, they're opening up for Motionless in White and Chelsea Grin. Just a completely different vibe.
Yeah, man. No, they were. I mean, and this, I think they got along with everybody.
Hmm.
So it's like, who can we bring on tour? We're gonna have a really good time with, and not have issues with. And they brought, let's call those guys, and they'll pack the house, and the crowd will go crazy for them every place they play. Um, yeah, Buffalo's got a good, it's good scene. I mean, Snapcase is from
Oh, okay.
Buffalo. Um, I was Metallica recorded Kill 'Em All in Rochester here. So there's some history for sure, man. Um, I read for the sake of heaviness that Brian Slagle's book there, the
Okay.
author of Metalhead or Metal Blade, excuse me.
Hmm.
Um, and I'm trying to think of the producer's name. It's Paul something. It's escaping, but he did the first Metallica. He did Kill 'Em All.
Paul,
Um, but
uh,
he was
um,
a famous guy like back in the early 80s when like if you had a metal record to be made, he was a guy you go out and work with. But it's funny how it was here, right? So you had everything going out in Southern California and LA and in San Francisco with Metallica. And then they're like, okay, cool, we'll kick Dave Mustaine out, and then tomorrow we're heading to Rochester, New York to record Kill 'Em All. It's just like it's odd, you know? It's a weird world, man.
didn't, did Metallica, I might be misremembering a story. Did Metallica stay with Anthrax when they recorded it or something like that?
I'm trying to, they stayed, I don't know if it was Anthrax, but I'm trying to think about the band they stayed with. It's in the book. Um, but I'm trying to think of that. But yes, they stayed with somebody. Get my freaking emoticon out of here. But yeah, and it's a cool studio. I luckily got to record a record there in one of the bands I was in the same studio that they recorded it in. So that was pretty cool. Um, but yeah, the band's really is amazing, man. I can't knock them at this point just for the longevity and not changing a ton of different members and having some dust ups with their fans and those things throughout their history. So it's crazy they're still playing, man.
Hmm.
They're the first like real metal band to have been playing this long, maybe outside of like Black Sabbath or something like that. But I think
Yeah.
Metallica's a little bit different metal, right? Like I think Black Sabbath kind of blazed the trail with a couple other bands, and they were kind of that cumulative effect of like, okay, this is going to be the Beatles or
Yeah.
that.
I would say Metallica, Black Sabbath, and maybe Slipknot are one of those only few metal bands that ever get the success to where non-metal people know it and they even just
Yeah.
wear the clothing just for kind of
Yep.
like a fashion sake. So,
Yep. Yep. I'm with you on that.
um, l lastly, I was wanting to talk about obviously kind of a three-facet when it comes to our podcast, but going back to the kind of core of it, I know you talked about that you are a father. So when it comes to that, do your kids listen to metal at all?
A little bit like so. My daughter used to listen to it, and then things just kind of changed, man. So she's into her thing, right? She's 12 years old, and she's into that music. So maybe she'll come around someday. There's a couple songs here and there she'll listen to, but she's definitely changed her taste. My son is into heavy metal, hardcore hip hop. Like those are the things he likes. He's trying to become a drummer, so he's been taking drum lessons for a few years now. Slipknot was the first band that he really kind of latched onto as far as a band, and I'm like that's fine, man. Listen to Jay Weinberg all day. You're gonna be fine if you can do what he does. So those are the bands that he's liked. He likes oh my God. So he likes Signs of the Swarm. He likes Fit for an Autopsy. Um, Slipknot he likes. He likes some Limp Bizkit as well, which is fine. You know, I have fun listening to that, blasting that when I'm dropping him off at school. Um, so yeah, he likes those things. My wife will listen, will dabble a little bit, but it's really me, man. I'm the metalhead. I when someone says they love all types of music, a lot of times they don't mean it. Like I legit do, man. I love it all. But heavy metal is, you know, we're all always, you know, end up at the end of the night where, you know, that's what I'm putting on. Um, but yeah, so my daughter started learning how to play guitar last year. I was in a band. I was in bands for 12 or 13 years. And I just stopped playing a few years ago just because I was, you know, coaching baseball, doing all these other things. And I was like, I can't fit it in, you know. Um, and so I kind of hung it up for a little bit there, but I'm thinking I'll start playing again now that Xander's, you know, drumming and can kind of hold a beat and Caroline can wail. I have a video years ago where I'm just like strumming something and she just like lays into this like scream, man. She throws her whole body into it. I think she's like 5 or 6 and it's awesome. I'm like, oh my God. And she could still be that. I could still see her, you know, being a front person for somebody's band at some point. She could still do that. Um, but yeah, that's what's in the house. So I mean, you'll hear it either in the garage, in the car. I'm not a vinyl guy, but I do have some vinyl stuff just for fun. I usually buy the Megadeth records on vinyl and that just for fun. But I'm not like a purist or any of those things. It's cool as shit. Don't get me wrong, but that's what we're listening to, and
I gotcha.
it's all over the place, man. It's Megadeth. It's you know, Unearth is a band that I've loved for a long time, man. You know, they're another band that has been around forever. Um,
hmm
and so, you know, that's what we do, man. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. Me and my wife have completely different tastes. I do try to listen to a little bit of everything. I didn't really listen to country until I got married to her, but now
Okay.
I am picking up on some country. But it's mostly like I like very soulful country, like Tyler Childers, Chris
Yeah.
Stapleton, Coulter Wall, kind of the
Yeah.
more darkish stuff that has a
Okay.
little bit of soul.
Yep.
But when it comes to the kids, it's been kind of that pull back and forth. My daughter likes some metal. In fact, she wanted to go see Lorna Shore when they opened for Mastodon Gojira when I went and saw them,
Nice.
solely because I showed her the pig vocal part at the end of
Yeah.
To Hellfire, and she loved it. She screamed
Oh,
her head off when they came on stage.
that's
And
awesome.
also, it's really fun. For a while, they don't really do it anymore, but I used to put on Knock Loose's Counting Worms, and they both, my daughter and my middle son, knew the lyrics, so they would scream it, and then they get all excited and do the bark part. So,
Ah,
uh, but that's about the extent when it comes to their metal love. They'll talk about it every now and then. They seem to somewhat okay with Lamb of God, but for the
yeah.
most part, my daughter seems to be a full-on Swiftie.
Yeah,
So
it's part of it, man. It's like
yeah,
they go through Swifty and then they come out the other side and it's Olivia Rodrigo or Sabrina Carpenter and it's they just they go through it, man. You know.
yeah,
So I try to, you know, and again, I pick my poison. There's some of, you know, there's some of those jams. I'll find something I like, man. You know,
hmm
I'll have to work at it, but I'll find something I like. And you know, Taylor Swift's just a drunk woman singing about her problems and it's great. It's
yeah,
fine. I'm with you. And I'm with you on the country too, man. Like I can get down to a lot of it. I can't get down to like the pop stuff, the trending shit. That's not something I can listen to, but you put in some bluegrass with a stand-up bass and a banjo, like I'm probably gonna sit down and listen to it and drink a beer and hang out, man. So
yeah, yeah. Something about it, just a real feel, the authenticity feel. I think is
yeah,
just more appealing.
yeah, for
Make me
sure, man.
feel something.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah. I think that's about all I got, man.
Cool, man.
I feel like I have more questions, but I can't think of them off the top of my head.
We could do
Probably have to
another
have.
one. You know,
We could.
you can invite me back.
Uh, yeah, I could.
I'm totally down
Uh,
to come on, man,
hell
anytime,
yeah.
you know. And I'll brush up more on my metal knowledge, man, to hang with you guys a little bit more. But like, you know, this is great. Like I appreciate it, man. You know, it's like I'm a small
Oh,
business owner
we
trying to start this thing, so like
I haven't seen your guys' stuff for a long time. I've been wanting to have you guys on. I think
I'm open to it, man. Like I said, I'm very humble, and so, um, anybody asks me to do something, there's not much I won't do for the most part, you know what I mean? And, this is great. I was like, dude, I'll meet these guys and, see what happens. But like I said, I'm down to come on the show anytime you want, man. If you need a personality or whatever, I'm here to help any way I can. So,
hell yeah. So what
cool.
I can even do is we can plan out another time. I'll try to give you more heads up so that way if you're interested I can also send you the new release playlist that I'll have for that week. You
Yeah,
can just listen to whatever. If anything
please.
does pop out of you, we can talk about it.
Yeah, do
Because we
that,
usually
man.
go over that. But yeah. Hell yeah, man. Nice
Awesome.
meeting you, nice talking to you.
You too,
Look
Jeff. Thanks
forward to
so
next
much.
time, man.
Yeah, you got it,
Uh,
Jeff. Appreciate it, brother.
uh, Hell yeah, man. I'll be in touch.
All right, stay metal.
All
Later.
right, stay mail, bro.